That task you keep putting off is not going anywhere, nor is anybody going to do it on your behalf. Whether it's a task or a project that you know you need to do to take the next steps forward in your life, but yet you don't have the motivation and you know it's holding you back. It ain't going to get done on its own. You need to step in. And that's what I'm going to be talking to you about today. How to stay on top of tasks that you've been putting on the back burner because they need your attention and you can't keep ignoring them. So, how do you pull that motivation out of you? Is what I'm going to be helping you with today. And I'm going to break it down for you so they're easy to achieve and you won't feel burned out and overwhelmed anymore. So let's get started. Number one, break down your big task or project into micro tasks. These micro tasks is what the key is because they will allow you to break down that major task or project into small, achievable steps. And that's how you're going to trick your mind into seeing the task as something that you're able to accomplish and not this overwhelming task that's out of your reach. So, say you have a bunch of clothing that you've been trying to get rid of, or that has just been sitting there and you don't wear it, it's collecting dust, but you just don't know how to tackle that whole project of starting to clean up things that are in drawers and closets, clothes that are in the basement. It's just a lot. So if you look at the task as one whole task, that's enough for you to put that thing off for 6 months, maybe a year or more. So you need to look at this task and break it down into mini to-dos, into mini tasks. For example, first, you're going to tackle just throwing things out that you're 100% sure you will not use again, you don't need, and it's just taking up extra space. So that first task is just a light cleanup. Tell yourself 2 garbage bags, 1 garbage bag, 5 items, whatever it is, start there. And then your next task, for example, can be to break down all the clothing into categories. So now you're just separating. You have a pile of bottoms, you have a pile of your tops, you have a pile of your outerwear, etc. Then your next task will be to go through just the bottoms. And you can even break that into even further micro tasks. You're going to try on the bottoms, and whatever doesn't fit, you're going to make a pile of donations. And what does fit, you're going to put aside. And then you move on to the next category, tops, for example. And then that next micro step, for example, can be you're going to put together looks. So now you take the pants and the tops and you create some looks so that you don't have to think of what to wear next time you have an event or an outing. So my point is, you have to break down the big task because if you tell yourself, okay, this weekend I'm going to clean out my closet, it's going to be hard to just jump in and start cleaning. Sometimes you need to step back and strategize first and really think about how you're going to approach the task and breaking it down so that it doesn't feel like It's never going to get done. Make the tasks achievable so that when you get those tasks done, you're going to feel so good. And that's going to give you the energy and the battery charge that you need to get on to the next micro task. And what's going to happen after 6 or 7 micro tasks? You're going to be done. If not, almost done. And you're going to feel amazing. And that's how you start to rewire your mind to start to think about these big tasks as things that you can actually achieve and accomplish. So you're no longer running away from them or scared of them. And remember, when you're doing your tasks, make sure you're planning it in a way that you're sticking to an order that makes sense. Don't skip. If you're going to do step 1 of cleaning your closet, for example, don't take all the clothes out on day 1 of micro task number 1 and have this huge pile in the middle of your room. So maybe start with a section, maybe one room, maybe one part of your closet. Do you understand how you have to plan it out and schedule it in a way that is not going to take you backwards? You have to feel confident about the task because I want you to see the tasks as achievable and something you're going to accomplish and feel good about, and then you're ready for the next steps. Often tasks aren't even that big, and we just make them up to be so big in our heads. You have to understand what is stopping you from getting the things done that you need to get done. Because more than half of the time, that block is in your mind. Because you got to understand, although these tasks may be super discouraging, they're so important. Your future self is going to thank you for getting these things done. And deep down inside, even though a lot of these things, like for example, cleaning your closet, may not be urgent, they still are nagging at you, or they're still at the back of your mind. And so break down the tasks so that you can manage them and they're not controlling you or making you run away. Number 2, now that you've broken down this big task into smaller, more achievable micro tasks, now it's important to schedule them in. This is where to-do lists come in. This is where writing down tasks come in. So whatever you use to schedule your days to stay on track is what you're going to use to plug in these micro tasks and treat them like an important thing you got to do for the week. Not only is writing it down a great way, but maybe you need to give yourself a challenge for a few weeks that you're going to get specific tasks done and you're going to tick those off and you're going to feel good about them. Where once a week you do a set amount of tasks, every weekend you're going to do a set amount of hours, whatever that looks like for you. And make it in a way that works for your schedule, for your energy, and that feels good, and you're getting things done. And it's giving the task the time and effort that it needs. I've actually created a challenge, a template for you to use, for you to write down your tasks and to track your progress. And most of all, to hold yourself accountable so that these tasks actually get completed. It's a 4-week challenge, which you can do less than 4 weeks or more. It's totally up to you. So please click on the link in the description of this video. I've made it super easy and free of charge. All you need to do is press on the link, enter your email, and the PDF will show up on the next page, and simply print that out. Personally, I keep mine on the bathroom counter because I see that every single day. It does not escape my sight. And when I have good days, I can see what I've ticked off. And when I don't, I can see that I was slacking. And it just keeps me focused and keeps me on point. So sometimes I just got to pull out these challenges and these checklists to really stay on top of it. Because if you're leaving your to-do list or these tasks to your memory or a mental list in your mind, chances are they are just not going to get done. At least not with that urgency that you want these tasks to be accomplished and completed. Because on the flip side, when you're crossing things out and getting things done and checking them off your list, you feel so empowered and good about yourself. And that's the goal. You have to create a timeline and give yourself some deadlines to make sure it gets done. Because the last thing you need is to get started on something and then just leave it to the side, and then you're back to the same position you were before you started. So you have to put it into your calendar. You have to make time for it. You have to sacrifice certain things, and remember, only temporarily, so that you can get through the tasks and get them done once and for all. The key here is to not overwhelm yourself. Because creating the micro tasks that I discussed in number 1, that brought down your stress levels, your frustration, because now you can actually see what you need to do. You actually have some sort of plan. But then to execute the plan, you have to give yourself some deadlines. You have to put it into your calendar. And you have to do it in a way that you don't feel overwhelmed. So don't try to do all the micro tasks in one weekend, for example. And don't spread it out over 3-4 months. When I say do it on your own terms and make sure it's not overwhelming, I don't mean take 6 months to do it. What I mean is don't overextend or overstretch yourself by pulling all-nighters and all of a sudden making this thing that you've been holding off for 6 months something that you're doing over 2 days. Don't do that to yourself, because that's going to create burnout and stress and frustration. So maybe give yourself a couple weeks. Give yourself 3 or 4 weeks even. And every week, get 1 or 2 of those micro tasks done. So please do yourself a favor and download this PDF and print it out and use it. And make sure you come back and let me know how it went. It's so important and such a great tool for you to not only get started on tasks, but really, really go through with them and then feel amazing at the end of it. Number 3, cut out all the distractions and the things that are getting in your way. And you know exactly what those are. And those distractions can be from outside external sources, or those distractions can be you. And that's what you need to really take a look at. What is getting in between you and these tasks, or this project, or this thing that you've been wanting to do for so long, and it just keeps getting pushed back? What is coming in between you and that thing? And this is where journaling, your thoughts, really thinking about it and reflecting comes in. Because half the time, that block is in your mind, like I said. So write it down. What is it? Is it your friends? Is it your habits? Is it your lifestyle? What keeps coming in the way? And why has it been 6 months, 1 year, and that task hasn't been done? And you know how important it is. So getting to the bottom of that is huge. The so that you can start to cut out the distraction and the things that are the hurdles. Because if they're unconscious hurdles, you're going to be repeating the same cycle. But once you become conscious of this, then you can actually do something about it. And sometimes we know what they are, but we just ignore it. So when you write it down, you actually see what it is. Maybe it'll give you a new perspective. Maybe it will let you think about it in a certain way and will allow you to create an urgency behind the tasks that it didn't have before. So if your weekends are your social time, your time to relax, your time to not think about work, then you need to compromise on certain things. And remember, some of these compromises, some of these sacrifices are only temporary because you need to get through the task. So sometimes you just need to cut things out cold turkey for short periods of time so you can actually do them. And then resume back if you want to, but you need to give that commitment, that time and focus to things that you know are important for you. Especially if they're things that you do every weekend. You've been doing them for so long, they're not going to go anywhere. So it's worth switching it up for a weekend or two in a month to approach it differently, to really look at your weekends as your opportunity to move forward, to grow, to get things done that you know are so important and that are in between you and your desired future self. Because if you don't cut out the distractions and make the time, it's just not going to be possible. And you know your distractions. So whether that's waking up an hour early, whether that is sacrificing a weekend plan, whether that is not going out 3 days during the weeknights, whatever that is, you know your distractions. You need to cut them out so that you can focus and accomplish. Look, your future self is depending on you. And your future self will thank you for the time and the things that you do today. And small steps, remember, they add up. So what may look like a petty, trivial, small little task you've completed, don't forget that when you do that 20 times, 50 times, 100 times, you become a new person. You move yourself forward. So don't lose sight of your goal. Don't lose sight of where you're trying to go. And sometimes slow and steady, which is actually my way of doing things, wins the race. So don't think that these tasks are these huge, mind-blowing, impossible things. No, break them down, set your pace, and get them done. Track your progress and feel amazing about it and repeat. And that's how you're going to move yourself forward and your life forward. I hope this video was helpful for you today. I hope I gave you some great tips and tricks to take with you on your journey. Please make sure to leave me a comment or check back in with me with your progress and how you're doing. And don't forget to download that PDF and print it out and use it. Give yourself that gift. I believe in you. I know you have the power and everything it takes within you. I love you, and I will see you for the next video.
Thank you for all the love and support. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.